buried me in the water and I came, I knew. Now I'm baptized in blue.
Welcome to the Officer Autumn podcast. I am the host, Autumn Clifford. I'm really excited to have you here as always. If you are enjoying this music or if it's piquing your interest, this is music by One Time Music. Go find him on Instagram. You can go download his music anywhere that you can download music. He is a fellow law enforcement officer. You can listen to the entire song of Baptized in Blue at the end of this podcast episode. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Lady Sheepdog Club. If you are a female first responder craving more education, more training, more support, more mentorship, or you are a future first responder, check out the Lady Sheepdog Club. It's a membership designed exactly for our women going into law enforcement or who are in law enforcement. Go to ladysheepdog.com for more information. Enjoy this podcast episode. Being a female officer and being in a relationship. What's up, everybody? That's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm excited to be here. As always, an honor to be in your ears. If you're brand new to me, my name is Autumn Clifford. I want to welcome you. This topic, man, this is a real one. I actually get a lot of DMs about this, and this is something that I've had to navigate over the years, obviously, myself. And so we are going to talk about it in depth. But before we do, I want to give two quick shout outs to our sponsors. The first is the Blue Monarch Company. As of the day that I'm recording this, you have about 5 days left to go to Blue Monarch, get yourself or get somebody else who a piece of their jewelry for Valentine's Day. They're running amazing sales. It's a Blue owned company. She's a medically retired female cop. She was on the job for 20 plus years. She got injured suddenly in the line of duty, had to go out, had to medically retire, and she started this company. I have not taken I got the Guardian necklace. You can go in any of my TikToks or my Instagrams, and you will see this necklace that I'm wearing. It's 2 angel wings with, in the center, there's a blue stone. And I haven't taken it off in 3 weeks. I shower and everything, and it is beautiful. So it's not piece of shit jewelry. It's really nice. So she's having like buy one, get one free sales, or you can get a piece for 40% off. Like, it's crazy. So either send your man over there, you know what I'm saying, to get you one, or go there yourself and send him the cart. The link will be below. The second shout out I want to make you aware of is it's called the Honor the Brave company. And the reason I want you to become aware of it is it's Leo owned, but you do nothing. Like, there's no buying, there's none of this. This is literally a company that just backs military and first responders when we buy and sell our houses. They make sure that we get 5% back, put right back in our pocket for being military or first responders. So I have both of those links right in my show notes. Maybe while you're listening, check it out, or after the show, go check them out. Give them a follow. Give Honor the Brave a follow on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, go check them out. Maybe if you know of a real estate agent or whatever, because the more real estate agents that rep them, the more we can use them and have money put back in our pocket, which is cool. Okay, so let's dive on in. First of all, how are you? How the fuck are you doing? I hope you're all right. I have an idea you're going, it's been a long week. It's been a long shift. It's been a long week. I just want to tell you that even though I might not know you personally, I just want you to know that you're in my heart and you're in my prayers. I appreciate you listening to me, and I don't take that shit lightly at all, and I honor and appreciate that, so thank you. I want to talk about this whole relationship thing because it's really actually it can be difficult to navigate. And the reason I know this is because I know a lot of women in law enforcement that literally cannot make it work with a man. They have been through several. They've been divorced. I've seen a lot of women who get into the job as a police officer, and then the person that they were with, even if they were with them for years and years and years, kids and everything, they end up splitting from them. And the reason I'm gonna tell you, this is the Autumn logic. This is what I believe. it takes a very special woman to do what we do. It just does. Okay. Most women don't want to be running towards problems, right? They want to call their man and say, fix this fucking shit. I know that I do that when I want the trash taken out. Or if something breaks in the house, I'm over here like, no. I'm not fucking dealing with this, right? But in life, us women, we tend to, you know, as a gender, it tends to be more that way than not. And here we are, the 12% of us that are out there doing the thing, right? But and so that these gender norms, right? So like a big thing that I have found myself doing on Not on Purpose is really trying to bridge these gender norms, because we as women in law enforcement or corrections, that goes for probation, that goes for my game wardens, that goes for any woman inside the criminal justice field. We're just different. We tend to be more type A. We tend to be, I'll fucking take care of it myself, tend to be far more independent, tend to not take shit from anybody, but we also can go on an extreme with that. And I'll talk about that in a minute. And I just want to say, like, shout out to all the women I've had a hard time, like being in a relationship. I just want to say it's not necessarily you, but I just want to talk about it. And I don't want you to think that this is an episode shitting on us, because it's not. I promise you, I'm going to turn it more of into an educational episode, as to why we might be that way. I've seen a lot of women do this. Like I've said, I've seen a lot of them divorce. One of my best friends, she's no longer. I don't know, like all of a sudden, like doesn't speak to me. That was heartbreaking. And she helped me a lot. She was one of the women, to be honest with you, she was one of my inspirations for starting I have a female cop membership site, and it's like a mentoring group. You're more than welcome to join. I'll link it below. But anyways, she's the one who really inspired me to do that, because she did that for me. She was the only one that has ever went out of her way for me when I was young. I get onto this police department, and that police department, those officers are the busiest officers in the entire state. And it's not because it's the biggest agency, or the most busy, although it's a very busy agency. What it is they lack severely the manpower to deal with the call volume. So I would handle the amount of calls. Like, it would be nothing for me to handle, I don't know, 30 calls in a 12-hour shift, and like that was average. And that wasn't just bullshit calls. I mean, it was nothing from us to go to a serious PI crash, to a very bad DV, to a suicide, to an overdose, to a mentally ill person, to somebody getting ran over, to I don't know, it's just the way of life. And there was 2 other women, herself included, at this agency, and there's nothing wrong with this agency. I love this agency still to this day. But she really took me under her wing. She's like, okay, you're going to go to the academy, and this is what you need to do. And I went and saw her on my weekends off from the academy. She came to my graduation. She, I don't know, she was just such a part of helping my success. And I just loved the academy, and I was highly successful in the academy. And she was a huge part of it. And not all of us have that. And that's really my motivation for starting this podcast and my membership group and everything that I do to train and mentor females, because, she was such a, I don't know, it made me feel, she made me feel like I belonged, because her and I were so close. I didn't care about not quote unquote fitting in with the guys. Does that make sense? Although I was tight with, of course I was tight with a bunch of guys, but there was other guys who I wasn't tight with, but it didn't bother me, because her and I, we'd talk, we'd work together. We would write parking tickets. And our city loved us because we were making them so much money, you know what I mean? So on the overnights, we had nothing else to do. and people park like idiots. So it wasn't unjustified parking tickets, trust me. But anyways, she ended up, she was with this guy for a long time, married to him, and she goes and she just changed. Like, she just fucking changed, man. And don't think for a second that's not you. Like, she just changed, and it cost her her marriage. You know, her husband ended up cheating on her and having an affair, and they ended up getting a divorce, and she was absolutely devastated. But she'll tell you it's because my entire focus became the job. My entire focus became the job. And I learned from that early on. I was like, oh shit. Because to me, she was just like, could do no wrong. Like, I just thought she was so amazing. And she's totally squared away. Like, she used to be, I don't know what she is now, but she used to be so squared away and, very well respected within the agency. And other officers respected her, like, at different departments too, because she just had her shit together, So, like, for me being this, like, young girl, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, she's so cool. I want to be just like her, right? I mean, I'm 20 years old, man. And to see that, and her and I had a lot of conversation about that, but the hurt that woman went through, it killed me. And then I saw it again and again and again and again and again. Throughout my career, and still to this day. I don't even have to be full-time back in the job to see that this is happening on a consistent level and on a consistent basis for women. And I talk about it with my husband a lot. You know what the fuck? Like, why is this? Like, why do we see these women just, female cops, man? Like, why are they not in all, like, they just aren't, I don't know, like, they're not in long-term relationships. And I'm not saying, listen, there's some of you I know listening to this going, girl, I've been with my man for 10, 20, 30, 50 years, right? Yeah, totally. But that's not common. It's just not. Take a look around. Or at least it's not common with all of the people that I know and in my part of the country. And I have a lot of clients all over the country who I know that it's the same for them too. And here's what I want you to do is I really want you to self-reflect, okay? I want you to look at, like, the type of person you find yourself attracted to. Because that makes a big difference. Do you find yourself attracted to insecure men? Be honest. Insecure men tend to be the ones that outwardly, like, portray their manliness the most. And they look like they're super, like, alpha, but they're not. But they like portray that a lot. And I don't know. I'm not going to go on and give traits because this really isn't like a bashing. I'm not trying to bash any man, but I'm just trying to make a point. Like, pay attention to who you're attracted to, because that could be a huge part of fucking your success up in a relationship. Also, pay attention to, like, how you act in the relationship and your mindset about it. Remember, men like to take care of women, but we as female officers, man, we're just this whole other level of fuck you. We just are. We just are. Because on our jobs, 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, we're handling it just like a man, if not better, right? Like, we're out there and we are, whether we are in interdiction and ripping apart cars, whether we're, dealing with, DV after DV and dealing with, couples who can't get their shit together and unruly people and, crashes because people don't know how to drive. Like, we are just dealing with one problem after the other. And so then we kind of take on that, like, male mentality of the problem solver. And so, of course, that's going to fucking come into our personal lives. Of course, when we go home, we're going to be like, no, I'm just going to handle it. I'm going to deal with it, blah, blah, blah. Of course, our personality is going to shift. You go and I made a TikTok about this. And if you haven't seen it, you really should go watch it. It's like a 3-minute video. It's almost viral. It's insane. But I talk about, like, really what it's like to be a female officer at a police department and how it's really unlike anything else. And I know corrections officers can relate to this as well. But, like, you walk in and if you look any kind of decent, I mean, the men just swoon over you. And it's not necessarily because of who you are, just so you know, like deep down. It's just because you're a woman. And, the majority of them are just trying to get in your pants. I talk about that. But if you are unprepared for that feeling, your husband or the man you've been with for a long time, they just don't seem as appealing. I know. I sound like a total asshole, trying not to, but I'm just being so honest. And, and so excuse me. And so I've seen that, right? I've seen that over and over and over again. And so just, take some time to reflect. Understand that you can have both. That was always a big fear of mine. Oh my gosh, like, can I do this? Can I do this job and be with a man successfully? I'm happy to say, my husband and I, we've been together for over 9 years now. And he's been with me. Well, I've been with him his entire police career, and he's been with me through the majority of my police career. And I'm not saying we haven't had trial and tribulations. The biggest thing I can tell you is that he respects me, and I respect him enough to let him be the man in the relationship. And I know that almost sounds like degrading a little bit, but I just want you to hear me out, because if you're constantly wearing all roles in a relationship, which we tend to do as female cops, like when we're working, right? But if you can't get your mind right and get your shit together off duty, like, who's going to want to be with you? I'm just wondering, because men like to take care of us. And again, I mean, and if you're gay, I can't speak to that. So I'm not trying to be offensive. I don't know. But as far as, men, I do know that they want to take care of us. And if you don't let them, well, they feel very, like, demasculated. Is that a word? Emasculated. And here's the deal. No man's trying to get with a woman to not feel like a man. Okay? And no man's getting with a woman to feel like a woman. Right? So, like we also have to remember that too. And again, this is just for the woman who's been really struggling in relationships, or who's brand new, going to be getting into this job. Like, there's things that you've got to understand. Like, your whole personality is going to change. It just is. This job does that. And it's not necessarily for the good. And you also need to, like, be very prepared and have the foresight to look at yourself in the mirror and just be so honest with yourself and just be like, all right, like, do I want a relationship? Because who the fuck says you want one? You know what I'm saying? Anything more than just fooling around. Who says you want long term? Who says you want a man? Maybe you don't, So just, keep in mind that our personality traits in law enforcement, and we change, and we tend to take on the manly side, and that tends to cause problems in the relationship. And you want to find a really good balance. I'm not going to tell you I'm perfect, but I am going to say, like, it is something that I consciously have focused on my entire relationship with my husband, because it's just been important to me, because I want to be married. I want to be in a long-term relationship. And it doesn't mean he's not a pain in my ass. Doesn't mean I'm not a pain in his ass, of course. But at the end of the day, like, I also respect him, and I know my role. I don't know. And that could even be offensive to you too. I know my role. Well, I don't, and it's almost like a little offensive to me too. So I don't really think it's that, because it's not like I'm acting a certain way. It's just, I don't know how to even explain it. I think I don't know. I allow him to be who he is. He allows me to be who I am. But at the same time, I allow him to be the man in the relationship. I don't even know. I don't know how to explain it to you. But it's just, I'm going to just say this too. I'm going to wind down this episode and just say this. I think it's different for everybody. I think everybody's different. I don't think that there's a magic formula straight up. I think that it's different for everybody because like depending on who you're with, it's all gonna ebb and flow, and it's but you know what's important? It's constant communication. If there's anything that I've learned, it's having the ability to just level and just talk with my husband has saved us more times than not. And the majority of people who do not talk to their spouse is, I can't even, like, I'm telling you right now, my clients, the clients I've had over, I've been coaching for the last 8 years, and I just cannot believe the amount of no communication. Like, they would have no problem telling me things. I'm like, oh, well, did you tell your husband or did you tell your wife? No. Excuse me, they're supposed to be the most important person to you. What are you doing? Like, what? And like, it's just stuff that like I can't imagine not ever saying to Adam. And so I'm bringing this up for you too, is like, maybe it's literally just constant communication from you guys, just constant, and I bring this episode up too because recently we've had two that I know of. In January, we had two domestic violence murder-suicides, and for our officers. And again, I don't know. Or I think we've had one murder. Do we have one murder-suicide? And then one guy, he killed himself. And then, yeah, it was one murder-suicide, I think. And then the other one is, it was a man who was in an argument with his wife, and they were both deputies. They had a 1-month-old, and he shot himself, and then a few days later she shot herself. And so I'm telling you, like, in honor of them, communicate in honor of them. Know who you are. Just know who you are. The self-awareness is so fucking big, and we tend to lose that. We do. And we get all righteous. Like, no, I'm a female cop. I'm the alpha female. I'm this, I'm that. Listen, there's a time and a place for that, for sure. But ask yourself if that's who you actually are, and if like that's how you want your life to be. And if it is, more power to you. But if you don't want to live like that all the time, be self-aware enough about that too. Otherwise, you're going to end up living a very lonely and broken life. And it's not like I haven't seen that over and over and over. And you know what? I bet you have too. That's the truth. I bet you have too. Or you see female officers in very unhappy marriages or relationships. No, we don't ever need to settle. We never need to settle, okay? It's all about being self-aware enough to know when you're happy, when you're not, and knowing yourself, being able to look in the mirror and know yourself enough to be able to be like, this is working or this isn't, and making the change. I hope this was helpful. I hope you got something from this. Again, this isn't meant to be offensive, but truly it probably is. But at the end of the day, I had to say what I had to say. So if you liked it, I'd appreciate it if you shared this with somebody, or if you went on to Apple Podcasts and gave me a rating. That'd be cool. I don't think anybody's done that since 2019. So I'd be pumped for that. If you want to join our female cop membership group, it's you get tons of hundreds of hours of training that I've compiled over several years. Live Zoom calls monthly. You get consistent sisterhood communication. We have a WhatsApp group, and you get live mentoring from me in there. So if that's something you want to do, you can sign up for as little as $50. The link will be right in the show notes. I'll be looking forward to having you. Our next live call is going to be next Monday. So just come on in. Even if you only spend a month, just come in, hang out, get to know us, have that support. The women in there are fucking kick-ass. They're going places, and they're super supportive, unlike anything I've seen. And it's from women from all across the country, and Canada. We got some Canadians in there, and they're pretty badass too. All right. I will see you on the socials, Instagram or TikTok at Officer Autumn.
They buried me in the water and I came, I knew. I'm baptized in blue.
I'm a fighter, I'm a winner, never quit. I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit. See, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a fighter, never winner, never quit. I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit. See, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue.
They bury me in the water in the Holy Ghost. I came out with a badge and gun and a heart that said never run. I signed up for a job you wouldn't dare to do. This ain't no green screen movie, don't compare the two. We look at your actions in the elements and everything relevant. If they line up, prepare to pay the consequence. You do dirt, you get cuffed, no bluff. It's ignorant to think we will shoot with your hands up if you the police. You feel the world is against you, like every call you go to, people trying to tempt you. Well, Hail Mary, Hail Mary, Hail Mary. I ride on the devil, I ain't scary, and I ain't worried. You want my life, come take it, it's gonna be a fight. I take it to the light, like Will and Bright. I wouldn't expect you to understand what I do, only the thin blue line, cause they baptized in blue.
I'm a fighter, I'm a winner, never quit. I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit. See, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a fighter, never winner, never quit. I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit. See, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue.
I can't explain the pain when I see a name on the wall. All I feel is rage, put me in a cage, let me brawl. Sometimes I can't help but cry, like why did he die? I know it was him, but it could have been I. What about the kids? What about the spouse? Yeah, now who gon' put food inside them babies' mouth? It's a bigger picture when the officer down. Domino effect, Blue Nation, family, country, and town. The media don't cover us. Well, maybe Fox, cause MSNBC and CNN surely don't care about cops. Politicians more concerned about protecting the legal instead of laying the law down and protecting the people. Let me get off my soapbox before I curse. I don't seen way too many cops riding in hearse. Well, I wouldn't expect you to understand what I do, only the thin blue line, cause they baptized in blue.
I'm a fighter, I'm a winner, never quit. I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit. See, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a fighter, never winner, never quit. I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit. See, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue.
If I'm faced with a mission, I'm gonna complete it. If that means being deleted, I live with the credence. I do this for the combat vets and Leos. When I'm suited, ready to go, it's either friend or foe. Only Lord knows what my future's in store. I only kill with the hope to see more, so God don't close that door. If I take a life, it's him or me, with the hopes to survive, not bigotry. I go in situations that you cannot imagine, deal with things that you cannot fathom. Know it, but I'd rather fight for a cause than live for nothing. So when you read my headstone, you know I died for something. You hypersensitive, she complain by justified force. You blame the cops first, that don't work, you blame the courts. But I wouldn't expect you to understand what I do, only the thin blue line, cause they baptized in blue.
I'm a fighter, I'm a winner, never quit. I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit. See, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a fighter, never winner, never quit. I refuse to lose. I got heart and I got grit. See, I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue. I'm a warrior that's been baptized in blue.